Welcome back to Game of Theories, where I introduce theories of management, administration, and leadership. This is episode 39. Today we'll explore social information processing theory. It's a psychological and sociological theory originally developed in 1978 to explain the creation and the processing of information by a group of people. The theory applies to management, administration, and leadership because one of the management's primary roles is to shape an informational environment in a way that is instrumental for people to achieve a collective goal. Social information processing theory suggests that people are highly adaptable and responsive to their social environments. Our perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors are not solely determined by our inherent dispositions and traits, but also by the information cues in the social context. Those information cues include values, work environments, and expectations that arise from our interactions with others in the environment. Imagine a workplace where teamwork and collaboration are highly valued. In such an environment, people may perceive their job attributes and attitudes in a way that aligns with the emphasis on teamwork. They may prioritize aspects like effective communication, cooperation, and synergy among team members when evaluating their job satisfaction. This alignment with the social environment can also extend to their behaviors, so people may actively seek opportunities for collaboration and contribute towards building a cohesive team. By contrast, if the social environment emphasizes individualistic competition and achievement, the intense focus on personal recognition, individual achievements, and career advancement can create a toxic atmosphere with potentially negative consequences. When people are driven to outperform others and gain recognition for their individual accomplishments, it can create a highly competitive atmosphere. This intense rivalry can foster an environment where employees are willing to go to the extreme lengths to gain an advantage over their colleagues, even if it means engaging in unethical behavior such as cheating or sabotage others' work. In this case, employees adjust their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in response to the cues present in the social environment and the consequences of their past actions. Instead of focusing on individual predispositions and rational decision-making processes, social information processing theory emphasizes the effects of contents and consequences of past choices. As a result, management could intervene in the workplace by not only changing the objective features of jobs, but also by influencing how people think about and discuss their work. This means that management has the ability to shape employees' perspectives and interpretations of their work, leading to desired outcomes. The social information processing theory was originally developed in 1978. Fast forward 10 years, in the early 1990s, as the internet became popular, researchers became interested in understanding how this new technology impacted communication between people. Joseph Walther, a communication and media theorist, recognized the need for a new theory to describe the unique nature of online communication. He proposed the social information processing theory, which explores how individuals process social information, build rapport, and establish relationships through the use of technology. Walther argued that online interpersonal relationships may demonstrate the same or even greater relational dimensions and qualities as traditional face-to-face relationships. However, due to the limited channel and information, it may take longer to achieve than face-to-face relationships. Those online relationships may help facilitate interactions that would not have occurred face-to-face due to factors such as geography and intergroup anxiety. By focusing on the unique dynamics of online communication, social information processing theory provides insights into how people navigate and create connections in the digital world. What unique dynamics differentiate online communication from face-to-face communication? One crucial aspect of online interaction is how people present themselves. In 1987, Tori Higgins introduced the self-discrepancy theory, which identifies three forms of self: actual self, ideal self, and odd self. The actual self represents the qualities and characteristics a person currently has. The ideal self represents the attributes they aspire to achieve, and the odd self represents the attributes they believe they should have. Higgins finds that inconsistency between those selves can lead to emotional discomfort. A 2002 study explored how the actual self and the true self are expressed in face-to-face and computer-mediated interactions. Specifically, after initial face-to-face interactions, the actual self, which are the qualities and characteristics that we believe we currently have, is more accessible to others. On the other hand, after initial online interactions, the true self, which is an authentic and present form of self, is more accessible. When people meet face-to-face, their initial impression of themselves and others is more focused on their immediate qualities and characteristics, which is the actual self. However, when people initially interact online, they may feel more comfortable expressing their true self, revealing deeper aspects of their identity, and may not be immediately apparent in face-to-face interactions. Social information processing theory explains computer-mediated communication as a process involving three phases: impersonal, interpersonal, and hyperpersonal. In the impersonal phase, computer-mediated communication tends to be more focused on the task rather than social and emotional interaction because nonverbal cues are limited. This can promote rationality, efficiency, and a democratic atmosphere within organizations. The absence of social pressures and hierarchies in computer-mediated communication allows for more objective and disciplined communication. In the interpersonal phase, as communication time increases, social information exchange becomes more prominent. Despite limited nonverbal cues, communicators anticipate future interactions and seek more information about each other. This leads to similar dynamics of immediacy, composure, receptivity, and similarity as found in face-to-face communication. In the hyperpersonal phase, people engage in selective self-presentation. Online communicators have the opportunity to present themselves in a favorable light by controlling the information they share. This impression management aspect of computer-mediated communication allows people to highlight their positive traits and create a desired image. Selective self-presentation is more likely to occur in computer-mediated communication than in face-to-face communication, where all obvious traits are observable. In computer-mediated communication, message receivers may idealize message senders by making attributions based on available cues within the message. Asynchronous exchange provides plenty of time for both sender and receiver to interpret the messages, leading to a higher likelihood of over-attribution and creating an idealized image of the message sender. This over-attribution can be seen in online dating and online job interviews. The feedback process in the computer-mediated communication involves reciprocal influence between senders and receivers, shaping impression and intimacy. Through ongoing interaction, people develop impression of each other and establish a sense of closeness. Let's look at how to apply social information processing theory to remote working. According to the theory, individuals' attitudes and motivations are influenced by the attitudes, motives, and behaviors of others in their immediate environment. In the context of remote working, employees rely heavily on virtual communication tools and platforms to interact with their colleagues and supervisors. The virtual nature of those interactions can influence how information is processed, as nonverbal cues and contextual information may be limited or absent. The absence of nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, can make it more challenging to accurately interpret social information. Without those cues, we rely more on written and verbal communication, which can be open to interpretations and may lead to miscommunication or misunderstandings. The limited availability of those cues can make it difficult for people to express and perceive emotions accurately. This can influence empathy and emotional understanding among team members, potentially leading to differences in how emotional expressions are interpreted and responded to. Moreover, in face to face environments, nonverbal cues, shared physical spaces, and casual interactions can contribute to the development of rapport and trust. Remote working may require alternative strategies such as regular video meetings or team building activities to foster similar level of rapport and trust. Social information processing theory emphasizes that jobs are not solely objective features, but socially constructed through collective perception and agreement. In the context of remote working, the perceived job characteristics such as autonomy, variety, and task significance may differ from those in traditional office settings. Remote work can provide increased flexibility and autonomy, but it can also present challenges such as isolation and blurred boundaries between work and personal life. But people have the freedom to choose when and where they work, which can promote a better work life balance. Remote workers can optimize their productivity by working during their most productive hours and customizing their workspace to suit their preferences. Despite the benefits of flexibility, remote work can lead to feelings of isolation and reduced social interaction. The lack of face to face contact with colleagues can make remote workers feel disconnected from the team or organization. The absence of informal conversations and impromptu interactions that occur in traditional office settings may contribute to a sense of loneliness and decreased social support. Social information processing theory also acknowledges the importance of self presentation in social interactions. In remote working, individuals may engage in selective self presentation by curating their online presence and choosing how they present themselves to colleagues and supervisors. This can impact perceptions of competence, professionalism, and trust. The virtual context of virtual work also offers opportunities for the expression of different aspects of one's identity, such as personal interests or expertise, which may not be as prominent in face to face settings. Applying social information processing theory to understand how remote working influences employees' attitudes, perceptions, and behaviors provides valuable insights. This understanding can be instrumental in designing effective remote work environments and policies and promoting positive outcomes for remote workers and organizations. Well, social information processing theory has been influential in understanding social interactions and communication processes. It is not without its criticisms. Here are some of the main criticisms of social information processing theory. First, the theory primarily focuses on information processing through text-based communication, such as email, instant messaging, and online forums. Critics argue that by neglecting nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice. The social information processing theory provides an incomplete understanding of social interactions, as verbal cues play a crucial role in communication. Second, social information processing theory does not pay enough attention to organizational contextual factors that influence the communication dynamics. Factors such as cultural norms, power dynamics, social hierarchies, and organizational structure can significantly influence how social information is processed and integrated. For example, in a workplace setting, employees may process information differently based on their position within the organizational hierarchy. Subordinates may be more cautious in expressing their opinions and providing feedback to their superiors due to power differences, while superiors may have more influence over how information is received and interpreted by subordinates. Moreover, organizational structure, such as its formal communication channels, reporting lines, and decision-making processes can shape how social information is processed and interpreted. For example, in a hierarchical organization with centralized decision-making, social information may flow primarily through formal channels, and interpretations may be influenced by the official positions and roles of individuals. By contrast, in a more decentralized and collaborative organizational structure, social information may be shared and interpreted more freely among team members. Neglecting those contextual factors may limit the applicability and generalizability of the social information processing theory to different settings. Third, some critics argue that social information processing theory has limited predictive power. While the theory provides insights into the processes involved in information processing and impression formation, it's less effective in predicting specific outcomes or behaviors. For example, knowing that people engage in selective self-presentation online does not necessarily predict how they will behave in specific situations, such as making a decision or resolving a conflict. The urgency of a task, time pressure, social norms, the presence of others, organizational policies, or budget constraints can greatly impact how people behave in a specific situation. The social information processing theory may not adequately account for those situational variables, making it less effective in predicting specific behaviors. Those criticisms present great opportunities for leadership practitioners and researchers to refine the theory and address its limitations. Thanks for watching this video on social information processing theory. If you are interested in learning more about theories of management, administration, and leadership, be sure to tune in into my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to know more about how to build a theoretical framework for your research, check out my book titled Demystify Theories, a workbook for developing theoretical frameworks of educational leadership research. The link of the book is in the description below.